Good morning, Lubbock and West Texas, 7:06 a.m. Welcome to the program this morning. You're listening to the Wake Up Call. I'm Benji Snead, along with producer Brennan Riker. 74 degrees outside right now, on our way to another hot 99 degrees. Almost hit the century mark yesterday. Looks like we'll get close again today. I'd like to welcome to the studio this morning our guest, City Councilman David Bruegel. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
Doing quite well.
Thanks for being here, as always.
Yeah, always glad to be here.
How many three-peaters have we had? Brennan, how many folks we've had on? Maybe the sheriff has been on 3 times.
I think Christy Martinez-Garcia has been on 3 times. I think yesterday was her 3rd.
Yeah, she called in yesterday. But I think this is your 3rd.
I think that's right. Yeah.
here on the program. It looked like a big day at the old council chambers yesterday. I think we got a little more insight about this zoning case that raised some eyebrows with neighbors, but unpack that for us.
Yeah, so when the agenda posted last week, I read through it like I normally do and thought, okay, this is going to be a pretty basic meeting, nothing too exciting today.
Yeah.
And then I suppose at some point, somebody from the Anti-Data Center Coalition determined that they thought that Lita was trying to build a data center over there off of Drew Street, which does not appear to be the case from what I can see. But nevertheless, they got a bunch of people excited and said, all right, go down to City Hall and oppose this annexation and zone case. So what Lita was trying to do, they've got a large farm they own up there north of one of the city dumps and west of the airport.
Right.
So pretty good spot for industrial development if you think about it. It is very far from most of the city, but still adjacent to the city limits because of how the city limits basically touches New Deal up to our north. And so they said, all right, we've got the 6-acre parcel of land that we need to get annexed in and properly zoned for industrial. So they brought that to council thinking it was going to be pretty calm situation, really. It's fairly normal. We want to see industrial development in the city, especially in places where it's away from our neighborhoods, which is the ideal place for industrial development. So I thought, oh, yeah, no problem. That sounds pretty simple. But then you've got the anti-data center movement here in town that says, oh, no, they're working on sneaking in a data center right there, which is not what they're working on doing.
That's not what it's going to be. Right.
No, it's rail spur access. And so what's very likely to develop there somewhere in the future, could be next year, could be 10 years out. Lita's looking for somebody that would like to use that piece of land for distribution or manufacturing, something like that requires access to the trains.
How important is industrial development to Lubbock right now?
Industrial development is absolutely critical to Lubbock's growth right now. Let's talk about something called primary jobs, Benji. So you'll hear that a lot in the industrial development conversation. The reason we're able to get grocery stores and restaurants, offices, things like that, is because we've got those sources of primary jobs. Now, early on in Lubbock's history, that was primarily agriculture, right? Everybody farmed years and years ago. My grandfather farmed. My dad started out farming years ago. But as time's gone by and technology on the farming side has become more efficient, we've had to look to other sources of primary jobs. Lubbock is really, at this point, becoming quite a distribution hub. Very excited to see that as delivery becomes more important, shipping freight, things like that. Yeah.
So this, I'm trying to get my bearings on where this will go and what kind of activity does what did you call it? A rail served manufacturing?
Yeah. So think of it this way. Basically, you've got people that build things and they need materials. Oftentimes, the most efficient way to deliver those materials is by train.
Yeah.
And so you don't have just a whole lot of property here in Lubbock that's serviced by a rail spur, which is a fairly expensive thing to build.
So I would think that's lower cost to transport things, more capacity, that sort of thing.
Yeah, far more efficient to transport raw materials over train, whether that's steel or lumber, anything like that.
Okay. What else happened at City Hall? Tell me about this, what do we call it? Not large-scale data center. They called it small-scale, maybe?
Yeah, so Lita sold land It seems like a few weeks ago. And it was in a public meeting, but I guess the news did not realize it at the time.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah, so LIDA had sold some land to a group that's going to build a small-scale data center there in North Lubbock. And it really didn't seem to faze anyone for a minute. And then everyone noticed yesterday in the wake of this meeting. So there's a lot of misinformation floating around, people saying, oh, no, this zoning case we did yesterday, it's for this data center that we're going to do. And I said, no, it's not. It's a different piece of land for a small-scale data center. And again, it was a 100-acre parcel that LIDA sold. But get this, Benji, 80 of those acres are non-buildable flood zone land. So it's a 20-acre project that LIDA's doing.
As compared to something like an Abernathy where it's 300 acres for comparison's sake.
Yeah, and usually with hyperscale data centers, they talk, 500,000 gallons of water usage, 200,000 gallons of water usage daily. This is 1,500 gallons. This is a rather small industrial project.
Less than a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, that will still have a substantial impact on Lubbock's economy. It'll bring construction, it'll bring jobs, but most people won't even notice it.
Yeah. So how is the city council getting along these days?
Yeah, we're getting along quite well. I think even though we don't always agree, you saw that we had not everybody voted in favor of the zoning case. We all still get along well. We're good colleagues. The working relationship is healthy up at City Hall.
Whose district is this? So was this zoning case?
Oh, goodness. This, I believe, is District 1.
So that's Christie.
Yeah, but you almost might as well call it District New Deal. It's so far north.
Right.
It is way far north. If anybody knows where FM 1294 is, it's up there almost north of the airport.
Right. Okay. I saw a story yesterday, and you brought this up in your campaign, our dog problem in Lubbock. KCBD is reporting that Lubbock Animal Services is reporting a sharp rise in pet surrenders lately and asking owners to explore other options before dumping their pets. Has that come up at City Hall?
It has, and some of it is a societal issue that we're not particularly able to solve at the government. It's just so important that people spay and neuter their pets if they don't want puppies.
All right.
It's really been a substantial issue, and we've seen a lot of people take those responsible steps. A lot of people, they haven't necessarily. So that's created a substantial population. I went back and asked people about the history of all this because I don't remember it being as rampant of a problem growing up in the community. And really it was COVID-19 where people were sitting at home, everybody was buying a dog because everyone was home all the time.
Right.
It's pretty easy to take care of pets if you're there all the time. Now, if you're not, you got your 2 or 3 dogs sitting there bored all day. It's not as easy, right?
What do you mean I got to go back to work?
Exactly.
Sort of thing.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the numbers here. I guess the summers, this pet surrender thing would spike. But it says 45 surrenders in June, and so far in July, we're the last 2 days of the month here, but 119.
Yeah.
That's 74 more than June. So anyway, shelter asks owners facing hardship to contact them about alternatives before giving up a pet. What do you do about it?
Yeah, and so our animal shelters had to work really diligently to promote adoptions, and so that's the first step. Obviously, we want stray dogs or surrendered dogs to find a new home. Sometimes that's out of state, though. What we've found, and this surprised me, Benji, may surprise you as well.
Yep.
There are other states where they have a shortage of dogs. And so, it's like, okay, here you go.
How do you qualify a shortage?
They've got more people that want a dog than they have. And so we've had some success.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, we've had some success of sending dogs elsewhere in the country to find new homes.
Yeah, wow, interesting. Well, and you brought that up in your campaign, so wanted to touch on it, but I hadn't heard those numbers till this morning, so that's surprising.
Yeah.
Visiting with City Councilman David Bruegel this morning. We're going to continue that conversation after the break. You're listening to 92.3 The Hub. By the way, if you've got a question or comment, 806-771-0923. 806-771-0923. Back after this.
Wake Up Call with Benji Snead continues on 92.3 The Hub, the voice for freedom.
Welcome back to the program. If you're just joining us this morning, welcome to the program, 7:20 a.m. Listening to the Wake Up Call this morning, 92.3 The Hub. I'm Benji Snead, along with our producer, Brendan Riker, and our guest, Councilman David Bruegel, this morning. It's going to be 99 degrees, another hot one today. You staying out of the heat?
I'm about to go for a hike out here in just a minute, man. Trying to get my 30-minute walk in every day. I went to a luncheon with Kent Hance one time, and Kent said,
oh, boy.
Oh, man, he's a hoot. But, he gets along really well for his age. And somebody asked him, Kent, what's the secret to your health? Yeah. And he said, every day, 30-minute walk, no excuses.
Yeah.
So you got to get your steps in.
He said a lot of things to me over the years. I don't think he ever told me that. I asked, we communicated, if we're telling Ken Hance stories, communicated a lot back during the Mike Leach thing.
Yeah.
And, obviously he was on the other side of that. But he said, I need some help and you can help me. He said, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I take a 30-minute nap every day, and I love Texas Tech.
That's about right.
We would do a story he didn't like, and he'd call me and say, saw your story last night. Well, it hurt my feelings and made my wife cry.
Oh, man.
But he's something else. And yeah, for his age, he's got a great podcast, by the way. I don't mind throwing that out there. Greatest storyteller in Texas. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's a great podcast.
Yeah, he's got some of the best stories out there.
I always get Kent Hance stories from my grandpa because my grandpa's from Dimmitt, up the road, and that's where Hance is from. So my grandpa knew his mother, and so they apparently there's a story that my grandparents took his mother to her first Republican meeting back years ago when the whole Panhandle was very Democrat.
Right. Interesting. He tells a story on his podcast about parking when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what parking is, ask anybody. And he said we were in the front seat. And this is public, so I can tell. It's out there. He said we were kind of kissing, and I looked at her and I said, "Do you want to get in the back seat?" And she looked at me. She said, I want to stay up here with you."
Oh, goodness.
He said, I knew right then we did not have a future.
Oh, my goodness.
A lot of Ken Hance stories. So you've been in there, a couple months now?
Yeah, a little over 2 months.
And what's the biggest surprise so far?
Man, what has been, I don't know if this is a surprise, but what's been really amazing to see is the quality of staff we've got at City Hall. We have some very bright people down there that are absolutely working hard to get things done for Lubbock.
Yeah. So are we short-handed a few mid-level management positions, seems like?
It's not real bad there. We'd like to see more patrolmen in our police division.
Yeah.
But we're doing pretty well there. Jared Atkinson just runs an efficient City Hall.
He does. And
so I don't know that I'd say we're short-handed as much as everybody's got something to do.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people twiddling their thumbs at our City Hall.
Yeah. And so you're going to have a new colleague here in about a week or so.
Yeah.
Or at least know who it's going to be. What's your take on this special election for District 4?
Man, it's been fascinating to see the level of voter engagement. Right. If you look at the number of people turning out, oftentimes for a late July, early August runoff election, you're not going to see hardly anybody engaged. Mm-hmm. But what we're seeing is hundreds of people showing up to vote. We may see voter turnout match that of the initial election.
Or exceed it.
It may, which would be very surprising and really encouraging to see. Like yesterday, we had a packed City Hall. Seeing this number of people engaged is really encouraging because I've seen city council meetings where almost nobody's there. Right. They just don't care what's going on or aren't plugged into what's going on.
Right.
But seeing this has been really good. It's good for the community. And we're seeing that in this special election for District 4.
Right, we are. I think the regular special election, like 7.9% of total registered voters turnout, and this may exceed that. I mean, 7% is still pretty pathetic when you have 2,600 people voting in a district where you have over 35,000 registered to do that. So we could do better, but I've just never seen it where a runoff produced more than the regular election, respectively. So,
and it's really neat. Sometimes Benji, you've got an underdog, and you've got maybe the champion in a race like this. Here we really do have two guys that are both have a strong base of support and broad appeal.
Right.
So if you told me to make a prediction today, I couldn't tell you.
Same. I have a feeling it's going to be close. But, all right. Reading here, what do you know about... So we take this junior ambassador program with our, what do we call it, our sister city, Musashino, Japan.
Yeah.
That's this weekend.
Yeah, they're flying in Friday, so that's the junior ambassadors from the city of Musashino City, Japan are coming. And
we're going to roll out the red carpet?
Yeah, we're going to welcome those guys, have a nice lunch with them, and show them around Lubbock a little bit.
I'm not sure if you know the answer, but how do you find your sister city?
You make it up. So you pick one.
Exactly.
So some cities have more than one.
Yep.
But yeah, this is ours, and so the ambassadors are coming over. I believe the mayor's going to be joining us as well. Mm-hmm. So that should be a really interesting cultural exchange for Lubbock. Japan's a really interesting place. It was such a closed country for so many years, Benji.
Yeah.
And then they really started to open up to the outside world more after World War II.
Yeah. Tech fan? I mean, obviously you live in Lubbock.
Oh, yeah, love Tech.
What's your take on Galaxy Stadium?
Man, I agree with a lot of people. I would have loved to see it called Jones Galaxy Stadium. It's hard to turn down that kind of financial investment for the university. But, I would have liked to see the Jones name preserved as well. I think a lot of people will continue to call it that, though.
I agree. We had Chancellor Creighton on last week, and he did point out they are actively working on somehow continuing to honor the Jones family. And then I pointed out, he was the third president of Texas Tech. I forget his first name. I'm drawing a blank, but he didn't get his name on the stadium because he was president. That cost money back then also.
Yeah. To
help build the stadium. So should point that out. But yes, we should continue to honor those folks because, gosh, it's been on there since, the 40s?
Yeah, many, many years.
So they'll figure that out.
So okay. now that we're through the Sorsby controversy, that's all handled and adjudicated.
Are we?
I don't know. At this point, I don't know. The question is, what are we looking at in the next season? What do you see, Benji?
A bunch of wins.
I hope so.
I think we've got a good shot at repeating a Big 12 championship. What do you think, Brennan? He's our sports guy.
Yeah.
You're going to have a target on your back, that's for sure, not just because you're the defending Big 12 champions, but, again, you've gone through the offseason with a lot of controversy, and you replenished your team utilizing NIL heavily in the transfer portal, and people don't like that. So I do still think it's a relatively weak schedule.
People don't like the rules.
I'm interested to see how Will Hammond does his first couple weeks leading the team at QB1. But one thing I'm really excited about, and usually people don't get excited about this. They love, great wide receivers, a strong running back, the dual threat quarterback. I love defense. And I love offensive lines. If you have a dominant offensive line, that takes you far places. You remember that 2008 offensive line?
Oh, yeah.
Monsters. Well, this year's offensive line could rival that.
Right. Well, anytime you got a linebacker that's a Heisman candidate, you can be proud of the defense. So, I think they're going to do great. And I think they're embracing the whole villain thing. And it's fun. Fun time to be a Red Raider in Lubbock, Texas. We'll be back after this with David Bruegel.
Wake Up Call with Benji Snead continues on 92.3 The Hub, the voice for freedom.
Welcome back to the program, 7:37 a.m. You're listening to the Wake Up Call. I'm Benji Snead along with producer Brennan Riker. 75 degrees outside right now, on our way to another hot one. Looking for a forecasted high of 99 degrees. Text and phone lines are open this morning. It's 806-771-0923. 806-771-0923. Visiting with Lubbock City Councilman David Bruegel this morning. We'll get back to him in just a second, but first I want to tell you about my new friends over at Two Buds Water Well Service, supporting the program here. There's not a bigger issue than water out there. Whether it's your home, your business, or your farm, we all have to have water, right? Two Buds Water Well Service. They handle new residential, commercial. They do ag well drilling for your agricultural irrigation out there. New pump installations. They'll also service existing wells. They are the experts in Lubbock. They serve all of West Texas. If you're thinking about drilling a private well, did you know you can do that inside the city limits? You can supplement your city water for irrigation purposes. That's a process. They'll Two Buds Water Well Service, they'll handle all that for you, including the required permits and paperwork. They'll do inspections for buyers and sellers, on-site water quality testing. My two new friends, Tanner and John, and that whole Two Buds crew really are the water experts here in Lubbock. I'm going to give you their phone number now. If you're looking for water well service for existing, or you just want to drill a new one, they can do it. 806-401-5111. 806-401-5111. Appreciate those guys and their support of the program. Back to City Councilman David Bruegel this morning. So we're right in the middle of how many budget meetings have we had so far?
Yes, we've had 2 budget priority sessions, which are lengthy sit-down sessions where we spend 3 to 5 hours talking about what each individual council member thinks is important to be included in this year's budget.
What's on your list?
Yeah, so top of my list is street maintenance. The council's done a good job of continually investing more money in street maintenance year over year, and I've advocated for adding an additional $500,000 in street maintenance funds. We talk a lot about new road construction, which is important for Lubbock. If anybody's driven on Upland Avenue or 141st Street lately, you know that's important for Lubbock. But what's important to me in central Lubbock as a representative of the center of our city is we've got to take our existing roads we have and stay ahead of the curve. We've got to make sure 50th Street, Indiana, Quaker, all those roads stay in good shape for the next generation. The investments we make today will have an impact 50 years from now.
Yeah. How close are we to having to call another road bond election?
Yeah, so that came up in the priorities discussion. It may be a little further out, so we may be looking at 2028. We'd like to see many of the projects on the 2022 and 24 bonds completed before we engage another.
So before the last one, part of the narrative for this road bond pack committee headed up by my good friend Jordan Wheatley was that we were 13 years behind. In your opinion, how many of those years have we caught up so far?
We're getting a lot closer, especially with the improvements on Upland Avenue. So, Benji, I live at 54th and Quaker, right? And I work at 34th in Indiana. That's where my office is. So I don't get outside the loop very often. But when I sat on that road bond committee back on both in 22 and 24, I said, all right, I'm going to go see what all the fuss is about. I'm going to go drive Upland Avenue. I'm going to go drive Alcove. Goodness gracious, we've got 2-lane county roads serving as major city thoroughfares. They were not safe. They were not in good condition because they weren't built to handle that kind of traffic load.
Right.
And so it had become very important, particularly prior to the 22 bond, to make those investments. Oftentimes, we don't understand how good we have it here in Lubbock as far as the investment in public infrastructure. People will go to other cities, in other parts of the state or the country and say, wow, these roads are a real mess. Come back to Lubbock and realize what kind of good roads we've got. We have that because of investments that were made years ago. That's why I've got, a great corridor in 50th and 34th Streets, Indiana, Slide, and Quaker. And so we've got to continue building that for the next generation.
Right.
We have a great South Loop 289, North Loop 289, because years ago somebody built a highway in a cotton field.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is a lot of the challenge I've seen at the city is short-term thinking. People will say, well, I don't need this for me today. I'll say, well, yeah, but your grandkids are going to need it.
Yeah.
So let's get it built.
Have a little vision there.
Yeah.
So we've had these 2 road bonds. in the last, 5 years? 20 and 22 maybe?
22 and 24.
22, 24.
Yep.
This requires issuing bond debt. Are you concerned about the city's debt at this point?
And this is an unpopular opinion, but I'll voice it. I'm not afraid to voice unpopular opinions. The city's in pretty good shape on bond debt right now. Just from what I've seen, we're in good position to service the debt we have. It's the best way to fund those 9-figure projects that we need to have.
Yeah. Impact fees weren't going to do it.
No impact fees weren't going to even scratch the surface, and there's no way we can cash fund those improvements.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about public safety.
Yeah.
We're going to have Police Chief Seth Herman on the program next week. How do you think we're doing? How is he doing as a chief, and how are we doing overall in public safety?
There will always be criticism of whoever sits in the police chief's chair. It's not a position I would envy or want to have in any way. But by and large, he is so well respected by the men on the force.
Yeah.
The feedback I get from the officers is that he's a real leader. We've got a lot of respect for him. And, he, just on a personal basis, is an impressive man. He recently beat cancer. And when I came into council, I thought, that's weird. I wonder why, shaved his head and lost his mustache. That's weird. Come to find out, the man had just beat cancer while on the job without missing a beat. Absolutely impressive man. So I think you're going to have a great show with him.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I've met him a couple of times. Never really had an in-depth conversation with him, so we're looking forward to that. We'll also have Lubbock ISD Superintendent Kathy Rollo on. So we'll have Chief on Wednesday and Kathy on Thursday in the 7 o'clock hours. We get ready to go back to school. What do you know about this Texas Tech Reese National Security Complex?
Okay, that's exciting, Benji. So for a long time, Reese had kind of just sat there. It was a major economic engine for Lubbock way back in the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. After the base closure, a little bit of it's sitting there saying, okay, what do we do with this asset? Mm-hmm. I took some college classes out there years ago. Same. Yep, when South Plains was out there. Took some of my Spanish classes there. Don't ask me to speak Spanish on the air. I'll really mess it up. But, it's good to see that be put to good use. You've got a lot of those good facilities and good buildings out there. And we're going to see a lot of interesting technology developed here in Lubbock.
Yeah.
For national security purposes.
I mean, just to get it started, the state granted $149 million to emphasize national security, applied research. They're going to be doing some testing. Not a lot of it, by definition, I would think we can't talk about or we won't hear about.
Well, we're not going to know about it. It's going to be CIA, FBI level stuff. They've got a secure communications facility they're putting in out there so they can communicate with Washington.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to try to have one of the board members on to give us as much detail as possible. The Chancellor talked a little bit about it last week. 7:46 a.m., visiting with Councilman David Bruegel this morning on the program. If you've got a question or comment, 806-771-0923. We'll be back after this. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Wake Up Call with Benji Snead continues on 92.3 The Hub, the voice for freedom.
Welcome back to the program as we round out another hour here on the Wake Up Call. Don't forget, we're on 6 to 9 every weekday. 7:50 a.m. right now. 74 degrees outside. Going to be another hot one, 99 degrees today. Text and phone line, both are open. It's actually the same number, 806-771-0923. 806-771-0923. If you have something on your mind, if you have a question or a comment for Councilman David Bruegel this morning, let us know. I want to ask you, Councilman, recently, I think it was late last week, news of, we were all excited, gearing up. We had these folks come in, present all these plans for the Civic Center renovation project downtown.
Yeah.
And then out of the, we were gearing up for what the discussion I heard was we'll probably see a vote for hot tax to go up in November, and then out of the blue, the mayor just was it the mayor or the council in general? What happened that we kicked that can down the road?
Yeah, so they weren't quite ready just yet. So we've got to wait till next year to do it. But I don't know if your audience has heard much about the plans yet. I'd kind of like to get into that.
Yeah, well, who's they first? They weren't quite ready.
Staff and the council were not ready to call the election just yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but what they're talking about doing, so the opportunity that exists, we had something really special come into place from our state legislature called a PFZ, which creates a zone around the Civic Center, like a certain number of miles radius of land area, where all the hotels in the area that have an expanded tax base from a big project, we get the state's portion of extra sales tax revenue.
Yeah, we've talked about that here.
Yeah, so it'll create a huge opportunity. These are pretty rare. It's kind of hard to get one, and this may be the last one that's ever done in the state.
That's what I heard, that they won't sign off on another one.
Yeah. Our state legislators had to work really hard to get that done because they know an upgraded convention center will be a big deal for Lubbock. So, they call the Civic Center an oversized community building. It's not a true convention center. Now, it's a wonderful building. We've had a lot of great events in over the years, but it really falls short of its potential. And so the plan would be to rename the Lubbock Memorial Civic Center into the Lubbock Memorial Convention Center and get a great big exhibit hall in there and upgrade our banquet rooms, upgrade our meeting rooms, and really just get it ready for prime time.
Right. Okay. Well, so maybe March?
Could be, could be May of next year, could be November of next year. I'm not terribly familiar with the timing. They're still all thinking through that.
The charter says next uniform election, but I think there's some leeway there. We'll watch it and see.
I believe that would be May, but I'll have to make sure on that.
Yeah, city election. All right, so you a lot about data centers lately. And we keep hearing all these numbers, and I know there's lots of metrics depending on the size and usage, that sort of thing. What 2 questions? What numbers have you heard? One of the things they used to sell these things is the tax revenue.
Yeah.
What numbers have you heard that a large scale data center could do for tax revenue in the city?
Yeah, so very much it depends on the city and depends on the size of the center. But what we've seen out of Abilene is they've got just an incredible amount of revenue coming in from multiple sources.
Right.
So everyone's always talking about the property tax revenue because you've got a large commercial structure that comes in. What I don't hear people talk about a lot is the bigger piece of the sales tax revenue. So people say, we won't get any revenue from property tax till we get this built. Well, during the build phase, we get a large amount of sales tax revenue
From the temporary jobs?
Yep. Okay. People coming to Lubbock,
Yeah.
all that.
Well,
So,
what's a realistic number that would tack on to a city revenue?
it depends on the size of the center. It can be up to in the millions. So it's very much substantial.
Any ideas, any creative ideas out there on where we might designate some of that, or would it just go to fix potholes?
Yeah, so again, we could designate it for pretty much however we need. The priorities we've got right now are street maintenance, police. Something we're looking to is how do we improve the quality of life for people in this city with public infrastructure. And so the pool conversation has come up substantially in our recent meetings. As you well know, Lubbock had a big network of community pools, and those were closed because of maintenance concerns back before I got on the council. That's been something that's been substantially discussed is, do we need more public pools? Do we need a year-round indoor aquatic center? Those are opportunities that we could look at with this enhanced funding, as well as continuing to fund enhancements to our police and fire departments.
Yeah. Very good. Visiting with Councilman David Bruegel this morning. If you have a question or comment for the councilman, 806-771-0923. How maybe a little off the wall question for you, but you chaired the Lubbock County Republican Party.
Yeah.
Has it been much of a adjustment for you to govern in this role as in a nonpartisan entity?
Yeah, it's been a little different. So as chairman of the Republican Party, I'm by and large accountable to Lubbock County's Republicans, right? Yeah. So I don't get to interface with as many independent voters and Democrats. But that has been absolutely fascinating, Benji. Getting to meet a more diverse range of people has really been beneficial to my own way of thinking. My values are I'm a conservative. That's who I am. But what I've found is when you visit with people who think differently from you, it expands your mind and helps you think. And so I've really valued those conversations. Also, a lot of the conversations we have, they're not the big nationwide issues that people get fired up about. We're not talking about immigration policy or national security. We're talking about, what kind of grass goes in the park.
Right.
And those issues don't really follow along party lines. So I love people, and I really have enjoyed the opportunities to visit with people that think differently than I do.
Yeah. I know it's a gratuitous question, but how long do you see yourself doing this?
Man, at least 4 years. So just getting started, really loving doing it. Hopefully you guys won't see me still doing this in 20 years, but
it's such a big paying job. I mean,
yeah, you know it, man.
You make $28 a month or something?
At 25.
Yeah.
But really the compensation in learning has been invaluable. Just getting to understand how this community works, getting to meet people in the community. But we often do joke about the pay, but really that's how we really get value from doing this job.
Yeah.
Is just getting to meet so many amazing people that we wouldn't otherwise have a reason to go talk to.
How much time do you spend on city business?
This summer so far, it's probably been about 15 to 20 hours a week.
Okay.
That'll probably dial back in the winter. But I want to make sure I'm investing as much time as I need to make sure that I'm making wise decisions and things are moving forward at City Hall.
Yeah, very good. Well, appreciate you being here today. Any last words out there? What's the theme down at City Hall right now?
Yeah, public engagement right now. We want to continue to see people engaged.
Right.
Keep hitting me up on my email and calling my office and giving me as much feedback as you can.
Very good. Councilman David Bruegel this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Benji. Have a good morning.
We'll be back on the other side right here on the Wake Up Call, 92.3 The Hub.